Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Hack, and in today's video we are continuing our look at the PTS patch notes for the upcoming Dragonhold DLC. This time we are checking out the Warden class balance changes. Just a reminder that I am covering every single class balance update on the channel, so there are separate videos for those. Make sure you check those out if you're interested. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more Elder Scrolls Online updates. That being said, let's go ahead and jump into Warden changes. Starting in the Animal Companions skill line, got some changes to Betting Edge here. So, this ability and its morphs now grants Major Brutality and Major Sorcery at the base, but the base ability no longer restores Magicka every second while active. This is a change that they're doing across the board with these weapon and spell damage buffs. They're making these grant both bonuses at the base, which is kind of good, actually. I do like this. This means pretty much that you can use either morph and still get the buff that you need. Now, also check this out. This is pretty cool. These abilities now remove one negative effect from you every 5 seconds. This is going to mean that the Stamina Morph Bullnetch will also have a remove negative effect. Interesting though, because with the Blue Betty, you could spam this, I think, and get multiple removals. I wonder if you can't do that anymore. We'll need to test that out and see. Now they reduced the duration of the base ability to 19 seconds. Blue Betty, which is the Magicka Morph, you get the Magicka Restore, and it's 25 seconds now instead of 27. Okay. Not sure why that would be, but fine, whatever. Bullnetch, this is the Stamina Restore. It's also 25 seconds. Okay. Moving on to Dive. They talked about this a lot in the live stream this week. So Dive has received a new functionality to help it stand out as a spammable. Received some reductions to the base functionality that were there in place to make up for the fact that it lacked any gameplay altering effects. So here's what they did. They reduced the damage by 10% and increased the base cost to 2,700. Okay, thanks for the nerf. If you are at least 12 meters from the target, these abilities now set them off balance. So this sounds like both morphs have an off-balance effect. And then the Cutting Dive morph, which is the Stamina morph, no longer reduces the cost. It now applies a bleed to the target for 7 seconds if they are off balance, which can stack up to 7 times. You can stack 7 bleeds with Cutting Dive? That's interesting. I did not see that coming. That's a really interesting change. I wonder if that works with some of the bleed armor sets that are in the game. 7 bleeds. Wow. I guess that kind of makes sense with the theme of like a bird diving and pecking you to death. Kind of interesting there. We'll have to check that out. And then Swarm. Swarm has needed some reworking for a long time, so let's see if this is any better now. Of course, they increased the cost of this ability to $29.70, no surprise there. These abilities now apply minor vulnerability to the target for the duration of the dot. Wow. Yet another buff to Wardens here. Interesting. Now they did decrease the damage per tick by 50%, but that's expected at this point. And then Growing Swarm, this morph is now stamina based. And it also deals bleed damage. Wow, Stamina Warden bleed builds coming up in the next patch, it looks like. So the swarm no longer spreads, but instead deals damage to the enemies in an area around the initial target. So it's an AoE and it's bleed damage. Wow, wow. Interesting. Yeah, guys, Stamina Warden bleed builds, that might be a thing with these new class skills. Pretty interesting there. Huh. Okay, Winter's Embrace, Arctic Wind. This ability now has the original function of Arctic Blast. Deals frost damage in the 6-meter area and the heal over time. Scales with max Magicka and spell damage. Arctic Blast Morph. This morph no longer converts into an awkward projectile stun. Okay, so they're changing the stun on this one. Instead, this ability has inherited Permafrost old functionality. Uh-oh. Since the nerf. Where enemies hit 3 times are stunned, this stun cannot be blocked. Interesting. So an unblockable stun on Arctic Blast, but you have to hit them 3 times. Okay. Crystallized Shield, Crystal Slab Morph. This now has a 500 millisecond internal cooldown on the damage return, similar to Dragonfire, Scales, and Living Dark. Okay, I think that's fine. Winter's Revenge, decrease the damage per tick by 33%. Okay. That was nerfed last patch too, wasn't it? Double the nerfs. And then Permafrost. Okay, here we go. They finally did something to Permafrost. It no longer stuns enemies who are hit multiple times, but instead increase the duration by 1 second per rank up to 12 seconds. Wow, okay. Wait, they increased the snare again? This is unbelievable. They reduced the snare to 40% and then they increased it back to 70%. I guess to make up for the fact that there's no stun anymore. They still wanted to lock down your enemies, so they're doing it with the snare now instead of the stun. Okay, guess I could see that. Also, it's now 12 seconds instead of 8, I believe, so that's 12 seconds of that huge snare plus major protection. I think you could argue that this could be a buff in some cases. That's 12 seconds of major protection, 12 seconds of 70% snare, and the damage is still there, plus you apply chilled. Oh, each tick now applies chilled. I don't even think that's a nerf. It sounds like a buff to me. So that's it for Wardens, you guys. Some really interesting changes here. When we go to the Stamina Warden, I think you could say this is perhaps a buff for them. Definitely interesting here. Lots of bleed damage, which I did not expect to see. And then Winter's Embrace, we no longer have the weird projectile stun. Now it's an unblockable stun, but it has to happen 3 times in a row. And then the change to Permafrost. Wow, definitely interesting here. So I'm curious now what you folks think. Let me know in the comments section. How do you think Warden is going to stack up next patch? Are you looking forward to some of these changes, or do you think these are nerfs? Let me know in the comments section. As always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to crush that like button and subscribe to the channel for more ESO updates coming very, very soon. I appreciate you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.